Welcome back to another Habs Weekly Recap with hockey coach Gold Colton Sheets directly for a beautiful country of Thailand. On amazing great Sunday night, January 28th, 2024, joined by our co-host somewhere, somehow in Toronto in the caveman, waiting to start to talk about the Montreal Canadiens, the legend, the man of the Hockey Nation, Mr. Tap, back in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Are we ready, Coach?
Welcome back for another time, the last time for you, and January only.
I'm fired. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
not.
Oh,
Maybe
sorry.
you're back on Wednesday, but for a weekly recap, this is the last time for you. And another thing to talk about the Montreal Canadiens, they already complete their month of the January, and they're going to now be on vacation until February 6th when they're going to play the Washington Capitals, if I'm right about this. So a week's off for everybody. So the schedule of the week, Mr. Tap, will be back only Wednesday night for the locker room report. We can talk about Montreal Canadiens, overview the season and what is next after that. And then, of course, this is the week of the All-Star game. It's almost like a week of vacation for most of the teams. But only a couple of games left and right in Nashville, Kraken, but not much action during the week.
No, well, with the All-Star game approaching, that's what happens, right? You get a little bit of extended holidays. It's a well-deserved holidays. I mean, there's a couple teams that probably don't want this break. Uh,
Yep.
Somebody like Edmonton Oilers, who are just rolling right now, would love to continue playing. But some teams have a lot of injuries, and this could be a good opportunity for them to mend a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think the Flyers also would enjoy more the
The
vacation like
Flyers,
to anybody else.
yes.
One of the team struggling the most in the last 2 weeks, I believe, with injury, everything like that. With you know, it's I think it would be good to everybody reset and then come back after the All Star game and then finish strong. After that is honestly the trade bait, the trade rumor, the trade deadline, March 8th.
It heats up.
Um, until then, and then after that, they finish strong the year until who's going to make the playoffs because the wild card is still crazy in the Metropolitan Division, by the way, and it's maybe not targeting the Detroit right now, but more targeting the Flyers. If you are
Yeah.
Islander, Pittsburgh, Washington, and the Devils still in the mix without have a really good year. They really have an average below year, the Devils, and it's still in the race to be in the playoffs. So those teams,
And they're the hardest ones to figure out, eh, Coach? They're the hardest ones because, I mean, they could really turn it on, and this race is over, especially if Philadelphia drops off. But I don't know. They haven't shown any
is the
inclination of
injuries.
really
The other
going up
day,
the
Mr.
pace
Tab is injury. Jack Hughes and the fact they
on
lost
defense.
Dougie Hamilton at the beginning of the season, and then following by now we have Brandon Smith, Zenon Heller, and I think they
Goaltending.
underestimate their defensemen. When I said that, the departure of Rand Graves impact John Marino
Yes.
game. And then, of course, they have Luke Hughes, understand that. And they thought maybe Kevin Bott can pick up a couple of, minutes of Rand Graves, but the top four struggling. But also the performance, the goaltender, they go with a rookie and not to bring a backup experience behind Vanecek. I think that's not help the Devils on the sense of that because Schmidt did not deliver and Nico Dodd does not change anything. So that will be interesting. This is one of the teams we have to watch for the trade deadline on those teams like that. I don't see Washington make a big move. Pittsburgh, I don't
No.
think see maybe mid one players, but the Devils are really the team are going to say, look, well, what we did for the last year and what we had, we can make the playoff. And again, we'll be in the playoff. Everything could happen about that. So I think the Devils will be really hungry or really pushing to be bring something at the trade deadline.
And what do you think about Detroit and the Islanders? You think they'll be active?
The Islanders are limited because they are not a lot to get more. Like they are, they are Zorokin. You cannot change the goaltender. The goaltender is solid. The defensemen, you cannot complaining about this. The problem with them, they're missing out Pelech and Polak. They're not doing well with the injuries, right? I don't know if they'll be ready. And then the only thing they're missing, it's their offensive. It's not easy to find a scorer like 25 goals, 30 goals can add there. At least you have a UFA player can maybe not to get renew this contract. So they are limited, the Islanders, to get some degrees or some great players. Can they get about Danev, Anifin? Maybe. But again, Islanders are really on the, it's like you go
No man's
forward,
land.
2 steps forward and then two step backwards. I think the Islanders would be like the team would be try to survive, but I think they would be beat at the end.
I think that they're destined for ninth, to be honest. They're in that no man's land, and that's the worst place to be.
They are not. They are good enough to make the playoff, and they are not good enough to make a big statement in NHL right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a good. But talking about Islanders, Mr. Tap, I think this was one of the worst day of the year, Mr. Tap. The Jet last, the Islanders last, the Montreal Canadiens last. And the Pittsburgh win, Mr. Tap. So he calculated. And then honestly, it's not coming from me. It's coming from Luciano Graziano. So I just want to mention that to you about that. I don't want to mention anything else, but he shared this with me. So.
Yeah, you have those kind of days sometimes. I'll make it up.
It's happened, of course, for that part. But yes, tonight, Mr. Natal, we're going to talk about different things. First of all, the subject of the night. And I split this document in 2 parts. First is going to be the Habs Weekly Recap. But the downfall about Brandon Gallagher, what he was thinking. And then, of course, the Mr. Arber Xhekaj, undeserved the way they treat him last game or maybe during the week. So, going to talk about this. If you follow my other channel, Frenchy Thailand, which is did Love in Thailand, we did a live stream warning. It was a warning for Coach Frenchy about that one. That was really good, Mr. Nartat, because we got Kenneth. Kenneth is the flip side of the fall love in love. He fell in love with someone in Thailand. So it was really nice to see that. If you follow my other channel, with you, Ritter, it's the quiz, the quiz option. You can follow that part of this. Not many people watching this, Mr. Top, but this is the beginning, so we have to wait at least 1 month before we have some result that we'll see about that. So, anyhow, weekly recap, Mr. Top. Before we start, we're going to welcome everybody. Don't forget to click on the likes. A lot of conversation in the chat for sure. Mr. Roy Straw, watch where you head. There we go. It's coming again, Mr. Top. Yeah, nothing you can do about that. It is what it is. At the end of the night, we're going to get that over there. We'll see what happening here. We're going to go over there. A little bit too high over that. Too high number.
That's good.
48. Go back over there. It should be better here. Well, we're going to hang in there at that one over there. Here we go. So, Roy, welcome back. Alan Viancourt, Mr. Top, is back with us. Alan is prepared for his bowling season, Mr. Top. He's going to wear his shoes very soon. And back on the line of the bowling. We'll see what's going to look like. Mr. Patrick Leblanc back with us tonight. A great game between the 49ers. Come back now. They're going to take the lead very soon. Mr. Tab is a question of time. And if it's the case, Mr. Tab, I predict for Patrick, you make money. I should get 10% of that because I predict the Kansas City and the 49ers, Mr. Tab.
But I think Patrick took Detroit today, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he did not listen to me?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Patrick, did you take Detroit?
I Coach Gary Fox, a bet of the day, underdog Chief and the Lions to win for some 10:45. Crash the Boget, cash up 9% halftime. Great nights, Mr. Patrick, about that. Yeah, but should listen, Coach. He knows really well the NFL.
Exactly. He's the GOAT.
Why nobody listen to me, Mr. Tap. I know already. But I knew already, Mr. Tap. We talk about Gary Bettman won New York Rangers at the final, everything like that, right? But same thing with NFL. They want Taylor Swift at the final, Mr. Tap, for the marketing behind that
100%.
part over there. And
It's all a Hollywood show.
that's the reason behind that. They have a TikTok video today, Mr. Tap, from Yahoo Sport. And they was said that the three reasons why the Chiefs win. First, the referee of the game, 55% of the game winning by the winning team, visitor team. So what they put the referee there because of that. The home team, one is ref, is won only 40% on the playoff. So it was one the reason. The second reason was Taylor Swift. They want to bring her to the Super Bowl. They bring marketing everything. And the third thing is not that. Really interesting. The colors of the logo of the Super Bowl. The last 3 years represent the two teams make the final Super Bowl. So the color of the Super Bowl, it was the 49ers color and the Chiefs colors.
Wow, there you go.
So,
And it looks like it might be that way.
but
San
maybe they
Francisco
go to
just
change
took
the
the
Stanley
lead.
Cup silver to red, Mr. Tap, red, white, and blue, and then we'll maybe make this final cup.
Le Canadien.
Here we go, Mr. Tap. Habs Nation is in the house tonight. That was the guy named that got caught in Laval.
Trying to remember the name now. Ben
Nicolas Baudin.
Baudet. That's it.
Here we go. About that one there, Habs
He's
Nation.
been there. He came from Chicago, right?
Gary Conway, Mr. Tap, is in the house. Mr. Tap, he was straight for who? Nicolas Baudin.
That's a good question. It's from Chicago. He came from Chicago, so it would have had to been.
I could be wrong,
this was
but I
2
could be
years-
wrong. The
2
name
years
or
ago.
his name. What you said?
It was 2 years ago. So
Yeah, I think
trying
it's
to
Cam
think.
Ellis.
Or was he?
Cam Ellis, forward center. Never make it. He was playing the East Coast Hockey League. After that, he got cut. I think he played one game with them.
Yeah.
He played one game with Montreal Canadiens. You know what the game he played? I was there.
Baudet?
It was in the Florida Panthers. The game they played only with 16 forward because of the
16 forwards.
because of the COVID.
Oh, okay. So we're going back a number of years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Ellis, but I could be wrong.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Here we go. Cameron Ellis, Mr. Tap. Play only one
Cameron
game in NHL. He played 10 minutes, 15 seconds. And they don't show me his game. Yes. Mr. Tap, it was in 2021. They don't give me more information about the game. Here we go. Game log. Here we go. Let's see the game log, Mr. Tap, if I was right.
See, this
Again,
was
the
also
Panthers, Mr. Tap. Here we go. I was right. It was played
You're on
January
target.
1st, Mr. Tap, 2021-22.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, this I think it was a mutual decision by both Montreal and Baudin
Yeah.
to terminate his contract. I mean, it's last year was based on last year it's a bit surprising because he didn't have a bad year with Laval. I thought he got like 35 or 40 points, something like that, which was not bad. This year he hasn't had much playing time because there's been a lot of other players that have been ahead of him, and so I think he wanted out, just like he wanted out of Chicago because he wasn't being given an opportunity.
Yeah, one thing you have to remember, Mr. Tap, one, you don't draft that players, right? And you're not part of the team, right? And you have now you prospects coming behind them, like Baudin. Now you have Xhekaj. You play Laval a couple of games, and then before that, now you have Norlander, and there are other Calipo and Bisson, everything like that. You can push out easier that way, right? They protect the asset because they draft those kind of players, right?
Of course. Yeah.
This is the reason why it does not fit with Montreal, with Laval Rocket anymore. They don't see anything for him. Mr. Tap, it's easy for me. He's going to see next year play in Sweden, KHL, or in Liga or maybe in Swiss Hockey League. That's where he's going to find. And you know what? He's going to be a good hockey player because he's a guy can play very well, skate very well on the. He's not
Yes.
big, so I think he's a prototype. A player can play a solid couple of good years over there for him in the future. So
No,
that'll
that's
be
a
the
good
last
point.
time I'm going to talk about Baudin in that show, by the way, Mr. Tap.
Okay.
No, because we're not going to hear from him after that, right? Whatever happening.
That's it. Good tidings.
Yep. Well, we wish the best for him. Steve Jim is out there back in the house from Colorado,
Hey,
Denver
Stevie.
downtown. Colorado are going to enjoy their last couple of things. For that one or that, we have RJ Calabro with all the information. Mr. Tap, the Chief won 17-10 again, the Baltimore. For that one. For this, let's hope Gallagher get injured 2 years and we put him on the long-term injury reserve. We don't want to everybody get hurt, but that's a great way. What about Mr. Nata? Pierre Martin back in the house. Welcome back, Pierre Martin. Glad to have you
Yeah.
aboard. Hopefully, you're doing well. Don't forget to click on the like. That'd be awesome. Our friend KLS back in the house, Mr. KLS. Big fan of the Detroit. We're doing. He have a great. Now he's maybe nervous because he's Lions, but he have a great couple of situation with him, like the Michigan NCAA, the Lions right now, and the Carolina Hurricane won, and the Detroit are looking good. So a good year so far for KLS. He's excited for 2024 for sure. Hopefully the best for you Lions. Gary Conway, Israel with one trophy, teamwork, one championship. The Habs are building for teamwork for Gary Conway about that one there. Coach, I would fall in love with her anytime. Yeah, me too, for sure. But you have to be cautious about that, Mr. Tap. I really have a really strange weekend, but it's okay. Part part of
You gonna leave
learning
us hanging?
and part of to accept who they are, what they do, and that's part of this. That'll be
Okay.
another subject for
Coach,
next time.
Coach, you can't throw it out there and leave us hanging. What happened?
Oh no, it's just what they are. Is like um, we, I, I become the another step for everybody. So when I said that, like I know the scam, I know how this works, I know who they are, and they know who I am, and the best of the best I'm looking for. I respect what they do, but at 3,000 per night every night, it's too much, right? Um, so I become friends with one of them where there's like she can get anyone and turn the lights on and she would be picked right away. So we're really friends. So I see what I we met each other. We go eat, and then after that we go hanging there together. And then at 2 o'clock, it's time to go because now the mouths are coming around, and now they want her. So she wants to make the money. And from 10 to 2 o'clock, it cost me, Mr. Top, 200 baht. I buy her beer to her, and she got a couple of beer, I think 3 beer for that, and she hanging with me and we have a good time together and just talk whatever it is. And the scam behind that, Mr. Tap, if I buy her a beer, it's 140. Once she buy her own beer, it's 60 baht. So what I do, I give the money, 200 on her hands. She buy her own drink, and then I save money. And she's with me until 2 a.m. And then I leave because now the mouth is coming and they pissed me off. So I just said, all right, have a good night. And then she talked to me the next night and she asked me, you go out? That's the way it works in Telemus like that. But you have to learn. And that's how I sharing that
Uh,
on my. That's how I sharing
sounds
about
complicated.
it. So, but it's okay. It's okay. Luc Fortin is in the house. Welcome back. Luc Fortin, Mr. Tap, is one of the winner of the prediction week 111 last week. Luc Fortin, congratulations about that. And Habs Nation is another one, Mr. Tap. And I did. I did it. So, first time of the year, I was right about that, Mr. Tap.
Awesome.
Dan Asham with Colette Asham, Mr. Tap, back in the house.
Hey, Dan. Go Jets,
Following
go.
by Frankie Leonidas, Mr. Tap, welcome back. And he confirmed Cameron Ellis with Nicolas Baudouin. Yes, he's right.
That's it, Frankie.
There you go. I still have memories, Mr. Tap. Sharks is watching the Kraken and the Blue Jacket. Honestly, I don't. I really don't. I watch football on my left, and then I put more other things there. So I don't know what's going on with that. Only 2 games. When back, it was not great. It was there. Good. Got old Cruz control, Mr. Nick Zuski. Je vois the NHL instead. John Ferreira, did you send the number 72 for the machine back down to the junior?
Did they send number
But I think junior
jacket?
for him is
Yeah,
Laval
but
Rocket.
yeah.
They not return him yet, right there, right?
No, no.
So
Not that I am
he's still with
aware of,
Laval
no.
Rock. He's still with the Montreal Canadian. And now, Mr. Tap, let's talk to get the first thing what we do, Mr. Tap.
Well, we say hello to everybody, which we did, and now it's time for
We get
headlines.
25 minutes, Mr. Tap. So we get a little bit extra for that part of that, but it's okay. It's Sunday night, All-Star game week. So we have to go floating or everything. We'll not be back, guys, on the Wednesday night. We are off Monday, Tuesday. I'm not off, but I'm not doing hockey this week. Time to reset the bottom. What about Monsieur Luc Lafortune, Monsieur Tap, notre ami Luc, il est de retour avec nous ce soir. Welcome back, Luc Lafortune.
Mon ami.
Here we
Salut.
go. Mr. Tap, I was trying not to create so much controversy in the chat tonight, but
Coach. What's a little controversy
here we
between
go.
friends? Of course. Wi-Fi out? Ah, that's my headline. And again, the reason why I wanted to bring Xhekaj up was primarily because of I think the manner with which he's been treated. I understand what the organization is trying to do, and they did send him down to Laval to get that conditioning after his injury, and he stayed down a number of games. It took him a while to get acclimatized there, and he did a good job. I think he was also helpful to Mailu as well. It's definitely something you want to see happen, but what you don't want to see happen, and this is the part that sort of has me a bit irritated, is it appears right now that the organization, for whatever reason, has made him sort of the black sheep in the family, and that part really irks me. Like, if you're going to bring him up, I think that it's essential that you continue with his development, and that means he gets some ice time. Like, for him to come up and all of a sudden we highlight what his errors were defensively, or maybe that he took a bad penalty. I don't think he really made a bad play defensively, except for the fact that he had one bad penalty. And others around him are doing just as poorly in terms of either bad passing or not totally forechecking when they should be, and others are taking bad penalties at critical times in the game. And yet the one we highlight is always Xhekaj. I think that that's wrong. If you want to send them down, I'm fine with that. No problem. I think that maybe till the end of the year, that's what happens. He goes down there, he gets some more conditioning, he builds up his confidence a little bit more. But the worst thing you could do is ask somebody to be who they're not necessarily. I guess the reason why I wanted to bring all of this up is because I think we have a little bit of our definitions maybe confused. And when we say he's a physical player, I don't necessarily mean that he's a fighter. I mean, obviously he has that in his repertoire as well, if needed. And I think he's exercised good judgment in that regard. He hasn't done anything that sort of merits anything negative there. But being a physical player means that you're taking the body, you're completing a check, you're making sure that you clear in front of the net for your goaltender when somebody parks themselves there, and those things are critical to a team. If you want to have a core of defensemen that are not only strong but are physical, then you need that. Like we were talking about, what teams that have gone to the Cup have had physical players. Well, look at guys like last year with Vegas. I thought that they were all physical. That doesn't mean that they had to fight. It means that they let you know about their presence in front of the net. When Montreal was successful and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals about 3 years ago, what was it? It was the key four players, right? You had Weber, you had Edmondson, you had uh, these guys that Sherratt and Petrie, and they were being physical. They're big guys that take care of their area. They clear pucks out of the way. They make sure that there's no way that somebody's going to get a second or third opportunity to score on that. So for me, I thought, you know what? Let's stop with the picking on Jack. I don't think it's right. Now we're by doing that, I'm not saying that he's an all-star or he's a superstar. There's a lot of growth still to be had here, but he has to be given that opportunity to get to that stage. And right now, I'm not seeing it. So if he's not going to get it in Montreal, let's send him down to Laval, and hopefully he'll get it there. But I don't think that this guy is a guy that needs to be traded because there was a lot of talk and speculation about, hey, let's trade him. Why not? And again, let me preface that by saying, of course, if a team comes along and says, I'm going to give you a top 5 pick here for Xhekaj, I mean, you'd be silly not to entertain it, right? But for a team that is cup bound or is going to be successful in the playoffs, and they offer you a first for him, and it's going to be like the 28th or 29th pick in the overall in the league, I say it's not worth it because we don't know yet what the ceiling on Xhekaj is, and these kind of players don't come along too often. If he was truly bad, then not many teams would be inquiring about him, and that was really my only point that I wanted to bring out from here. I hopefully we can end this whole Wi-Fi problem right now and leave it as it is because it's a young core. I look today, coach, and we are the youngest defensive core in the league. So of course these players are going to be making mistakes. That's part of the development. It's part of their growth. We have to be patient with all of them, not just the ones that we deem they were drafted in the first round like a Gooley, so we need to be patient with him. But because Xhekaj wasn't a drafted player, then we can throw him to the sheep here or to the wolves. It just, I don't know. It just bothered me, and I wanted to bring that up tonight, and that's it.
I will going to give you the other side of how I see that, Mr. Nata.
Go ahead.
When I see that, first of all, that mega or that Xhekaj versus Martin St. Louis, this is just bigger what he is right now. It's not big allowed between Martin St. Louis and Xhekaj. It's very low. It's just the social media and the fans and the reporter put this bigger what they are supposed to be. Xhekaj was come back with the Montreal game for one reason. It was again Ottawa Senator. In case something could happen over there. That's the only reason he was played over there. Now, 2 of these 3 penalties, Mr. Tap, are interference. When you create interference is because you hit someone without no puck. Right? The only defense penalty he got, Isaac, he got beat at the blue line. He tended to come back checking, and he used his stick. It's not like he wanted to do that, right? It's just like a unlucky play, but because he got beat, he got that Isaac over there. So I don't defend him. I just show you the 3 penalty he got during the time. Bad timing, switch the momentum. The team come back, opponent team, it create bigger what it is. By the end, is a mistake by young players play at 22 years old now. He is, so I think Xhekaj right there, right?
23, yeah.
He's always been the junior compared to NC like Harris and Strobel. The second thing I would say to you, Mr. Tap, the Montreal Canadiens does not like to let a young defenseman on the healthy scratch many games. Harris was out for 3 games, the last 3 games, so they bring him back over there. If he play like Xhekaj, right, is a third pairing, consider what defense number 6, 5, 6, 7, we can say, or he's not a top
Yeah.
pairing for Montreal Canadiens
No.
at that moment. Does it
No.
make sense? Right? Let's go
Absolutely.
back forward. If Pesada make a mistake or Ilonen make a mistake on the four line, but they are the player like Xhekaj, easy to remove or you line up because you can bring someone else and they was not make a big impact. Like if you bench Caden Cooley, like he take the penalty last game during the game. Now you remove your best first pairing defenseman who have a great game against Pittsburgh. It can bring you to team to the next level at any moment. It's like Cole Caulfield make a bad penalty during the game versus like Brendan Gallagher example. But you can bench Brendan Gallagher or you can let him on the bench, but you cannot, if you trail by one goal and say, you know what, because Cole Caulfield make a bad penalty, we're going to remove him. We're going to bring back Pesada or your bottom six Armia to try to tie the game. So the reason why they go with Xhekaj not in the lineup, but Pittsburgh is not a physical team. Secondly, that we give more reps for Iris. And thirdly, but maybe send a message to a little bit at Xhekaj. So look, you have to learn to be undisciplined during the game. You did that before that. You come back again. You repeat again. So it's again. I'm sure Martin we talked to him, explained to him the reason why he was just held to his crash over there, and he got it very properly. He's going to returning about this. He'll fine after that. I just feel like the people around make a big impact. Now back on the Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Tap, I can understand what you said. The playoff, it's not about fighting, everything like that. He built that kind of reputation, unfortunately. It was not I'm sure he was not thinking to make NHL to be a fighter like like the guy like Ryan Graves, everything like that. I think he have better skill like many of them as hockey
Absolutely.
player. He still not reached that side. I think he have a great offensive side, everything like that. But when you reach Mr. Tap, when you talk about Petrie, Weber, Chariot, and Edmondson, right? For me, you're right. But for me right now, Xhekaj is not there yet to play that role. If he was with Montreal Canadiens Mr. Tap, he would not be a part of that because he's
Yeah.
not that kind of player
It's
yet. He's not there yet. He's not that
yes, I
kind of player he
agree. I
can do
agree
that.
with that.
Yeah,
But
no.
he needs the opportunity to play. That's my only point.
So what he need to improve is really his adjustment to the game, right? His first pass is not there. He's very behind. Like many times, I said the percentage is not there. His physicality is there, but still because he have a lack of a speed, not because he cannot skate. His lack of speed is it's a lack of reaction, anticipation, cap control, box out. All the different things, the details of the game is not still there. He need to improve that part over there. And because we don't know the ceiling of Xhekaj, and we don't know the ceiling
That's
of
it.
Cooley, we don't know the ceiling of Hudson, Angstrom, everybody like that. You cannot trade Arber Xhekaj right now. You cannot trade any
No,
defenseman
no.
who they are at that moment. In my opinion, this situation, Xhekaj versus Martin Saint-Louis, is bigger at what the people, who both of them are really they think about that. It's really easy for between them. They know what they need to do every time that. Now, this is a really strange week, Mr. Tap. They're on vacation on February 6th. Laval Rocket play 3 games, right?
Yeah.
Xhekaj make about $1 million per year. I don't know exactly the total, 935,000 example. If he stay with Montreal Canadiens, he can go to Bahamas right now, sit his butt on the beach, and take a couple Mexican or one around him and to have a great time. If he go back to Laval, Mr. Tap, he lost approximately 200, well, maybe not, maybe he lost maybe $100,000 for the week because now he's stuck with Montreal, with Laval, and play back at 80,000. So from you know, a 5-star plate, you're going to be now at a 3-star hotel with hot dogs around you for the week for Xhekaj. So this is why I believe the situation. I'm not sure they're going to bring him down or not, right? I'm not saying they will keep him in the university, but for me right now, with the situation with Montreal Canadiens, what they at right now, what they look like, right? If they don't let him play only one game per week, or he did not hand play because when he played, Mr. he played only 12 minutes, 13 minutes. He got benched after his second penalty, everything like that. I'm not complaining about that. But for me, it would be better at that moment for him to be with Laval Rocket and increasing his role, increasing his leadership, and helping the people like Mayu around him and improve himself, his play to reach back after that with Montreal Canadiens. That's what I see Xhekaj at that moment. If they not want to play him like more at 16, 17 minutes, Aris, Kovacevic, Strobel, and play 16 minutes last game, all three together. But that's is what happening with Xhekaj right now, in my opinion, right now. And I will not trade him at all. Whatever you gave me a
Yeah,
first round pick, I will not trade him until I see exactly what he can be. And in that, the best scenario for Montreal Canadiens is, for me, you develop him as a defenseman like you develop Hudson, like you develop Angstrom the next 2 years, right? When you develop Rebecca, Mayu, and all those rookies for the Montreal Canadian defensemen, right? And 2026, where I believe you're going to have a better idea of all those players like Barron, Mayu, Rebecca, Hudson, and so on. Really what they go and struggle, what they fit and the depth chart on Montreal Canadian. Because this is the way you get 24, 25 years old. That give you an idea who they're going to be. For that moment, Mr. Tap, I believe, for me, that'll be the time to transform Xhekaj as a forward.
yeah. Well, I mean, we've been saying that for quite a while. I don't
Now,
disagree with
it's
that.
too early right now, Mr. Tap, to do it. Because you don't know the other players and himself, his ceiling yet as a defenseman. But after 2 years, me, that's what I will do that with Xhekaj. That will give you an idea what the Montreal Canadiens are. That will give you an idea the value of all the young players you have. That will give them an idea where they are. Maybe trade one of them to keep Xhekaj, or maybe trade Xhekaj, or send him as a forward. This is a three option I have for Xhekaj. But right now, like a rebuilding team, we always have one word start with a P. It's to argal patient. And I think that's what I will
Yeah.
do me with Xhekaj and everything happened around the Montreal Canadian right now. I don't know how you feel about that. I would like to have you reply.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that aspect of it. My whole point was what you can have done is the fact that he comes up here and he sits. That's not going to benefit him. It's not going to benefit the team, and most definitely, it's not going to benefit Laval, who could use him at that point. And the other part that I wanted to just bring up is he's making, like, I even noticed in the comments, some people are saying, "Well, he's got to learn to be more disciplined." Well, he's young. He's just as young as everybody else on that defensive core, and he's not the only one that is making silly mistakes. But yet we harp on his and not so much the ones that maybe Harris made or the ones that Kovacevic made or Struble made a couple this weekend. Even Savard made a very bad pass in the last game we played. But again, they get a mulligan, but Xhekaj doesn't. And I always feel that for the underdog in these kind of cases, and I do believe that there is a good solid upside to Xhekaj, and I admire what he's had to do to get to this stage, and I respect that, and I would just like to see him being treated a little bit more with fairness in my eyes. So if you want to develop him, sure, absolutely, send him down to Laval. Try him out at forward as well if you like. I have no qualms about that. I just don't want all the garbage that you're hearing, like we'll trade him, and if you get a second, I'm happy. That makes no sense to me because these kind of big defensemen don't come along very easily, and I think you got to see it through and see what you have, because even though we have a good core coach, we have a good core of young prospects, we don't know which ones are going to develop and actually make it at the NHL level. Like we bring up a lot of names like Bogdan and Hudson and Reinbacher and Mailu and others that are there. Not all of them are going to make it, And if they do, you got a good problem, because now you have assets that you need to deal at some point to fill in gaps that you have in other areas of the game, on the team as well. So it's just a matter of, let's do this and let's do it right. I think I've applauded everything that the management has done, including Martin St. Louis, in terms of having transparency. And yesterday when it came out that Jack or 2 days ago, that he went there and he apologized, and the remarks from St. Louis was, "Don't worry about it. Today's another day. Let's move forward." And then they play the game and against Pittsburgh, and he's sitting in the bleachers. To me, that wasn't right. That wasn't fair. The optics are not good there.
Awesome. We'll see what it will be the development for Xhekaj and the next couple of weeks, everything like that. For me, it's not, I think Luke Lafortune said something about get trade to the team, they would appreciate him. I think they appreciate Xhekaj. I don't think so. They are against Xhekaj, right? They just try to be sure you understand is what you need to accomplish to stay in NHL. And you can be physical, but you cannot take penalties like he does. At fun moment, management, and sometimes it's how hard, Mr. Natap. The line is so thin in NHL to be to be positive and to be negative. Look about Gallagher this week, example like Gallagher, right? He wanted
Yeah.
his intention, Mr. Natap. He's been in NHL. At any moment, his intention right now it was to try to hit the head, targeting the head because he wanted to do that. His first step to go that direction of the players for him, it was honestly to go with to try to get a puck out. That's normal. But unfortunately, he finished this play with a fast game and he finished with a head at the end of the day. He paid a price for that. But the line is so thin, Mr. Tap. It's a question of second. It's a question. Xhekaj does not play, Mr. Tap, to try to get interference for penalties. Any players does not
No.
go that direction with that, right? But at the end of the day, you have to be aware of everything, and that's what makes it fun. Someone can recognize that, if someone don't make it. Martin Siou make a great information about Armia take a lot of penalty because of his stick, because he tried to protect the puck. He tried to play a lot with his stick. For him, it's just part of the game for him to understand the player, what he can bring. For me right now, Xhekaj played a bit bigger because what he bring on the table versus what other player can bring on the table. It's like
Exactly.
that just a part of the growing as a player. When you are borderline, is still try to make the NHL. You're not still there yet, but you try to hang in there, but you pay more because you cannot be the top four. If Xhekaj was the top four, Mr. Top, we don't have that conversation. He would be sent back, right away back. Again, remember, he got benched at some point, but he sent him back on the power play number 2 after that. So, like I said, Montreal appreciate his play. They just want to develop him properly the right way and learning the details of the game, what make him to become better, and what make him to stay in NHL, whatever it is. But for me, he is a third pairing defenseman with maybe, if he's developed properly, a second pairing in NHL. The time will tell us, honestly. But I don't see that yet right now from his play. Since day one, Mr. Tap, I'm the only one here. I got crucified many times. I said, you guys, he's not ready for NHL. And the opposite he got, Mr. Tap, is because the injury from Montreal Canadiens, where he took advantage of that and he proved he could try. But is the benefit for him, like maybe other players for the Montreal Canadiens last year, he started the season in Laval. But because he had many injuries and they're hanging there during the season, that's the reason why I believe Xhekaj played last year, but unfortunately an injury happened to him, and he finished there. And Mr. Tap, he played what? 75 games in NHL so far?
Yeah, approximately. I mean, I
58,
think he
59 last year, I believe, and then you have to add
and
maybe like 20
19,
now, right? He's not have a
19.
full year yet, Mr. Tap. So you
Exactly.
cannot trade any player like that right now at any moment. You have to give time. You have to give time. And that's what, and the benefit for him is what they believe is the best for him. But I don't see, for me, behind that, Mr. Tap, I don't see Martin St. Louis against him. I don't see the Montreal Canadiens against him a lot. I think for me, I disagree when you or any other people mention that the Montreal tried to break Xhekaj, not at all. They just tried to make
No,
him
no,
better hockey player.
no. I'm just saying that you have to treat him in the same fashion that you treat everybody else. My fear is he brings to the game a certain asset, and that's his physicality. Yes, you want to develop his defensive prowess a little bit more. Totally agree with that. But you got to be careful. You can't keep pounding in his head. Well, be careful. Don't get a penalty now. Don't if you're going on the ice. Don't get a penalty. Watch out. Don't trip anybody, because what that does is it starts to play games in your mind, and it
Yeah,
takes you away from what got you to where you're at right now. And again, I'm not referring to fighting. I mean, that's an added bonus, the fact that he can handle himself and he can run to the defense of other teammates. That's just a bonus that we'll put aside off the table. What I'm saying is his physicality, the way he plays the game, and he can even contribute down the road. I believe he can contribute offensively as well. Those are assets that don't come along too often with somebody his size.
yeah. Third pairing defenseman, he could be that kind of player for me right now on
Yeah,
that part. But I will say to you guys, he did not get benched after his first penalty. He got benched only after his second penalty and make the team to switch the momentum of the game. And that's the reason behind that part. It was not. So always when you coach, you're always thinking that way. You don't want to punish a players, but leave a message properly about that. And you know what? Potentially we return him on the power play after that. So this is maybe not seen by many people here, the details, but as an experience as a coach, you always try to balance everything in setup. You don't want to, you always to be careful as a coach to put the player down all the way. Like you, for me, it was like you never trash any players. You can punish someone, but be honest with the player also. If you work that way, I will give
100%.
you everything. You get you nanan, right? You bonbon. But if you don't do that, my friend, I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
everybody have their own role. So for me, at the end of the day, patient, it's not bigger right now between both of them compared with the people thinking. That's my best thing I can say. But the great conversation that chat.
Okay.
Randy Walkman, Patrick, Luc Laverson, Sam P. Back in the house. Patrick Leblanc make some kind of information there. Fixer talk about this too. A2 also is in the house. Welcome back, A2. Glad to have you aboard for that. And Frankie, Martin St. Louis, jealous, Xhekaj, and pull like that. Not at all, Frankie. Frankie, Martin St. Louis is not jealous. Nobody is jealous of Xhekaj, Frankie. Think about this. Why Martin St. would be, think about this, Frankie, 2 seconds. Why Martin St. would be jealous about Xhekaj? Right? What he tried to teach him as an attack is to become a solid hockey professional, right? Um, Again, they bother the Montreal Canadiens maybe because he did some commercial TV. I don't know about that, but they want to be sure he focused on hockey only. And sometimes it's not that when you're young, 19, 21 years old, or you become a player elevated by the media and by the fans, and people love you. Anything like that, maybe you change a little bit your behavior, but you have to go back what you're supposed to be as a hockey professional only. I don't say that negatively, but I think Montreal Canadiens want to be sure those players have a great line of behavior behind that, Mr. Nata.
Yeah, and like I said, that there's transparency and that the players understand exactly why the coaching is doing what they're doing, and they have to be equal to everybody. They have to be fair. That's the key takeaway from here. I have again. Let's lay it to rest here because I think we've taken up a lot of time on Wi-Fi, but it just suffice to say that I think that you have, a gem in the making here, and it's just going to take time and patience. And I know he's well grounded because I know his family background, and I know what he came from, and he's very appreciative of everything that he's gotten, and well deserving of having made it to the NHL level. Right, there were no freebies here for him. He was not a drafted player. Everything he's gotten to, he's earned, and that to me helps to create a positive personality and the proper character to be in the league for me. And we're seeing a lot of players today, on a different tangent here, but we're seeing a lot of players that have not always handled success in the greatest fashion, and they're running into all sorts of problems, and that's why we're seeing players that are asking for help down the road and are entering the assistance programs. And it takes a special kind of person to keep their head screwed on right.
Yep. Yep. Sorry about that. Fred, whatever it is, he said he disagrees. He said the look at number 20 who does nothing out there 90% of the time if they keep playing him for that. I'll be disagree with your opinion about this, and I would love you to sit with me because I have some number for you the next 20 minutes about the development of Xhekaj since the beginning of the season. Very interesting, Mr. Tap, about that one over there. If you compare Xhekaj and Coley, no doubt Coley do a lot more mistake. I don't compare. When I said the talent of Coley versus Xhekaj, it's not the same thing. You talk about a 16 overall pick versus a player undrafted. The play of Coley play every night against the best player versus Xhekaj play on the third pairing. It's not the same way. So they have specific role, different role, and you have to stay in your role. Mr. Tap, if Coley cannot hanging the speed of the game versus Crosby, McDavid, those big number, the big name, he will not play on the first pairing or the second pairing. They will put him back down. That's just normal, right? And that's the reason they don't punish him if he take a bad penalty. And thirdly, he play on the right side, what is not his good side about that. And that's pretty sure about Coley. I just give you an idea what your role is and what's the reason they treat you that way because of your role, specific role about that. I don't see trouble with Coley doing stuff like that. Number 20 does nothing about this, Patrick. Don't listen to this idiot. Don't wait. No talk about guys are very good players. I don't know who you talk about, Joe. I like Kovacevic because he does not submit inhibition. For that one, try to pick up everybody. Frank, coach, not true. You did not like Xhekaj, and you said the hockey changed. Not true. Fair is the most important thing. Is Sinterdoon. Again, one tell me, Frankie, at that podcast, at any moment, I said I don't like Xhekaj.
Never.
Never, 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 and never. What I said is what I feel what is missing for his development when he needs to improve to get better about that one. What I said, you're right. I said the hockey is changing. The fear of the hockey is changing anymore. You don't have fight anymore. You don't have those kind of the not the aggressivity, but not kind of fear around the NHL anymore. It's skating about the speed of the game. And what happened in Mr. Tap, if you look about this, I looked at yesterday. They have over 30 misconduct game last year, a 10-minute game. 2 minutes plus 10, 2 minutes plus 10. Remember, Vegas, Florida, at some point, have only 6 players on the ice, on the bench. So they only go that direction now because the hockey is changing. You don't have those kind of the pushing around and they try to intimidate. Here we go, intimidation. You don't have those kind of players anymore and NHL anymore. There's a new ways to go there. So for me, if Xhekaj, you keep him only for that, is not going to go helping the Montreal Canadiens. If you're helping Xhekaj to develop a better hockey player around on defensive side, if already on his offensive side, that's what you should keep Xhekaj. The time for this, Frankie, is an extra 2 years. And I don't know what's the best way. Is it Laval? Is it Montreal? He only need whatever he play to be on the ice, Mr. Top.
Yeah, I
That's
agree with that.
that's
I don't care where it is as long as he's getting the time to develop. That's the whole takeaway from all of this.
yeah. Yes, some fans fear a talent equals Stanley Cup winner, Frankie. About that. Again, Mr. Inatap, I will say to Frankie, which player for the Vegas was fear last season? They know. They know. They have no fear. They have no fear. They have no players who you can put at the ice and wait a minute, we have to be careful because he's going to hammer us. No fear anymore. You know what I mean? It's not the part of the
No,
game anymore. But
I
and
think
then
what he's
see what
referencing is the physical play. Like there are sometimes if you play a very timid game and you don't finish a check and you don't clear a player out from in front of the net, players will take all sorts of liberties. They will park themselves in front of the net. They will skate rings around you. But all the defensemen that Vegas had last year, I would say five of them, not even just four, five of them were always finishing their checks. They were always clearing the front of the net. They were not allowing a rebound. Once Aiden Hill had that puck, that was it. And if there was a loose puck, they made
all of
sure
them is
that
on
the
top are
opposition
six
didn't
three,
get it.
6'4".
Exactly. They're
All right.
big, they're
All of them
physical,
can play there.
and that's what you fear. That's what you fear.
It's not the fear, Mr. Top, it's the way you play the game. Skill is talented. It's not about fear.
Yeah.
It's about to know what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need to do. You need to be sure you can protect the front net. This is not fear.
Well, that's
This is skill. This is the reason I said the game is not about fear. It's about skill. To understand, to protect the front of the net, to understand to cover the guy in front of the net, to get in the corner when you battle for the puck. This is skill. It's not fear. This is why I try
well,
to
yeah,
explain. That's why I try to bring. It's not anymore to bring a player on the ice and you see, you know what? Something happened here. He's going to beat her badly. You don't have anymore. You don't have those Rand Reeves and Dave Shoes and Semenko
no,
and
no, but
Mexoli
that's
and
not what we're comparing,
you know what
coach.
I mean?
That's
Like,
not
like
we're
you can go that
confusing
way over
we're
there.
confusing we're confusing the word fear here. Fear doesn't mean that somebody's going to come and beat me up, drop their gloves and beat me up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a player that has that physique and that does his job. Now, you can say that that's talent, but in having that type of talent, you're instilling fear in the opposition. They will
Mr.
not come in
Matap,
front of the net if
Sean
they know
Weber.
that
Sean Weber, right?
everybody feared him. Everybody.
All right,
Shea
because
Weber.
yeah, but what make him who he is? Skill. This is my
Right. And
point.
that
Xhekaj
skill,
does not have the skill to be that way yet. You can
exactly. I'll
feel
agree with
anybody,
that.
guys. You can feel anybody, but if I can bring you the 6'7" cannot skate backwards. He will fear me on the ice. He's going to be in front of Samuel Montembeau. He's going to be an hammer with his stick. He's going to fear. I'm going to feel the fear,
Yes.
but I'm going
Yes.
to do around him like a yellow cone because he cannot do anything about that. My point behind that, guys, is about fear. It will not make you to win the Stanley Cup. The skill and the talent of the players will make you to win the Stanley Cup. And the fear is all about the skill. This is what we are in 2023. And that's what we are now in hockey. This is my simple example about the fear versus skill. That's it. That's all. I can understand a 6'4" versus a Samuel Girard. I understand that. But the skill
Yeah.
will helping you more to anything else. That key for Xhekaj is on top. It could be fear, but if he cannot play at that level, you cannot do anything about that.
Yeah. I think we're just going around in circles, coach. Like we're talking about, yes, of course you have to have that skill. I don't disagree with that. That's not my point. But I'm saying once you have that asset, let's call it an asset, not skill. Once you have that asset, then you all of a sudden instill fear into your opposition because they will not come on your side. They'll go on the opposite side to try to get a different defender. Like every time Trouba's on the ice, you can rest assured that the opposing teams they have their head up Now, you might say that's a good thing, and I agree. That is a good thing that they have their head up, because otherwise they're going to get knocked on their behinds. And again, that's not fighting. He can do that too, but he plays a physical type of game, and you're right, he has the talent that enables him to do that. And so what that does is it allows your team to walk 2 inches taller. It creates ice space for your players. It helps your goaltender. It's just an all-round asset that you bring to the game. And yes, you have to develop to get to that stage. And that's what we want to see for Xhekaj down the road.
Exactly. If Trouba can play in NHL, so can Xhekaj.
He's not at that stage yet. I think Trouba is more talented, but he'll get there. I'm confident that Xhekaj will get there, but he needs ice time. Whether it's here or it's in Laval, it has to happen.
That's the word. You just said exactly. You need ice time.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do that. Whatever it is. That's the reason why, Mr. Tap, I would never agree with Rick when he said he should be an American Hockey League, Sakaski, or anything like that. If the player has his ice time at any level, let him play. Like Shane Wright, Mr. Tap, we do a lot of joke about Shane Wright, right? With the Kraken, why he's not with the Kraken, everything like that. If you put Shane Wright, Mr. Tap, he play only 9 minutes and NHL. He's better right now what he's doing with American Hockey League.
Sure.
He get confidence,
Agreed.
he develop, he get improvement, he understand. He scored 16 goals right now, whatever it is. So same thing with Xhekaj exactly right now. He need to be sure he improve that time on the ice, return that. So I think that's enough talking about Xhekaj
Let's
right
move
now.
on.
As people's getting.
What's your headline, Coach?
I'm not
What's
under,
your headline?
They have about like I have a bar on my computer tell me where we at on the comments, right? Every time people put comments, my bar go higher. And when we get higher, it's because we have more comments. And I'm not there yet, so I don't know whether people talk with me or not with me or
It's
disagree,
okay.
whatever it is.
It's okay.
I'm not there.
It's good conversation. At the end
All
of the day,
about
it's
that.
good conversation.
So
It's all
that
done in good spirit.
1 hour later, can I do my headlines?
Go ahead, Coach.
But Mr. Tap, we just need vacation. We need to vacation after we just stuck for our work for Xhekaj and everybody, Cole Caulfield told me we need to go on vacation. Mr. Tap with Joel Armia. And that's happening about that. By the way, they are really really close. Cole Caulfield and Joel Armia, Mr. Tap, if you don't know.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we need vacation, and Montreal need that, Mr. Tap. You know, when I was laughing earlier, well, I was not laughing, but when you were talking about the Flyers need vacation, right? The injuries, everything is going on, the team not looking good. I think Montreal Canadiens need the vacation. And the fact is because they got a slump of 3 games. It was the panic, the national panic in Montreal. Then you have the welcome, the Patrick Roy. Patrick Roy, better to Martin Saint-Louis. Martin Saint-Louis is not a good coach. We lost 3 games. We have to fire him right away. Martin Saint-Louis is not good enough to be with Montreal Canadiens. Patrick Roy should be with Montreal Canadiens. So you get another big thing after that. Then after that, they beat the Islanders. Then you go to Pittsburgh. They L3 scratch Xhekaj. Oh my God. No, Martin Saint-Louis does not like anymore Xhekaj. And now we need to fire Martin Saint-Louis. He's not a good coach. He's a pee-wee coach and everything like that. And that's the reason, Mr. Tap. We need to take vacation. We need vacation right now, Mr. Tap, to come down, to come back February 6th, and it's going to be a new day, a new game, and nobody's going to remember about that one. Then, Mr. Tap, I'll give you an idea. If Nick Ski does make a mistake at the All-Star game, we're going to fire him next week. We're going to trade him next weekend, Mr. Tap, after the All-Star game, by the way. Are you watching the All-Star game, Mr. Tap?
Yeah, I always tend to watch it. I like it more for the skills event than the actual game. But
yeah, me too.
We'll see.
Yeah, we maybe do the skill development here, the skill about that.
As long as they're not too gimmicky. A couple of them last year were a bit gimmicky.
Well, it was more, he did try to entertaining last year, like more create something. And then secondly, it was too long, Mr. Tap. They have to be really, and I think for me, it have to be on the ice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what
Not
I mean?
on the beach, shooting pucks at a surfboard.
No. it become too much outside of the game about that. Whatever it is, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, Mr. Tap. So we all get back. If there, the subject of the week is about a weekly recap. Montreal Canadiens headline is over. Um, let's go with the record of Montreal Canadiens this week. 1-1-1, Mr. Tap. The last again, Ottawa Senators. They cannot beat Ottawa Senators. Eight straight losing game against Ottawa Senators. They beat New York Islanders after they had take the lead 3-0. Islanders tied the game 3-3 with a penalty of 5 minutes for game misconduct of Gallagher. Gallagher got suspended 5 games, and then after that, they take the lead against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, they lead by 2-1, and then finally they lost by the score 3-2 and overtime. Second loss against the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. First game was in Montreal Canadiens at the Montreal Bell Center. They lost 4-3 and the shootout this time, and by the score, by the overtime. What you feel about the week of Montreal Canadiens? You can talk about specific thing about the specific game against Montreal Canadiens.
Look, there's not much to say about the Ottawa game except that it was extremely disappointing. You would have thought that they'd come out a little bit more motivated to try to play a better game than they did. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So it was what it was. When it came to the Islander game, like it's. I thought that they played a relatively good game. It wasn't out of lack of effort, and they did end up scoring late. But I mean, that penalty kind of hurt them because I thought they had things under control until that 5-minute penalty, and then I think the Islanders scored, if I'm not mistaken, two or well, yeah. If you go back to the second period, they scored a power play goal there as well. So all three of their goals were power play goals. So that's an aspect that we've been trying to focus on and trying to improve on. It's not only the power play, but also the penalty killing. And it's gotten better, but in that particular game, it just wasn't there. Thank goodness Monahan put it away with just under 2 minutes, I believe it was, and they recorded the win there. The last game, they always play Pittsburgh well, and I thought that the first couple periods, Montreal was right with them. They had the lead, but you said it many times, Coach. When they have that lead, for whatever reason, they don't have that killer instinct yet, and maybe it's something that comes with time and experience. But they have to learn to put teams away, and they had some opportunities because I thought at least in the first two periods, I thought Jake Allen really did a good job of keeping him ahead in the score on the score sheet. And then you had the incidents there with the goal by Gunsel, and of course, I mean the overtime was a bit of a messy situation. There was a bad pass that was made to start off that play. There was two players that ran into each other behind the net or by the side of the net that led to that opportunity, and Peterson put the game away. So, credit to Pittsburgh for coming back. I think it was a game that meant more to Pittsburgh than Montreal in terms of the standings, obviously. But you can't dismiss that they put in a good effort. And I know I kid around a lot and put them down sometimes. It's not because they're not a talented team. I think Pittsburgh's an extremely talented team. But what I kind of object with Pittsburgh is the way that they were constructed, and then the direction that they took over the summer, where they should have been thinking, how do we start to get a little bit younger? How do we start to retool if you don't want to rebuild? I get that. And instead they doubled down and went with the same players that they've had for years. And, maybe to get them into the playoffs, I'm not going to discount that, but I think that there's a lot of other teams around there that will pull it off. And we saw that last year as well. Pittsburgh should have been in the playoffs. They lost their last two games, I think both to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. At least the last one was to Chicago, and it took them out of the playoff position. But we'll see what happens if they don't go very far, or if they don't make the playoffs. Something has to be done in Pittsburgh.
Great point, Mr. Tap. I'm just reading comments about that one. Jason, welcome at the house. We have Bob the uncle in the house. Great comment,
Hey,
Mr.
Bob.
Tap in the house. I don't disagree with that. I just, Frankie, as you said to you guys, I think you think the people don't love Xhekaj. I don't think so. I think everybody would be, and I'll be honestly, Mr. Tap, and you see me. When Xhekaj have a fight, I'm the first one that's screaming in the chat right here, right? It's entertaining. I don't have no problem with
Yeah, of course.
Xhekaj. What my point behind them is on top is just I want him to become a better hockey player. That's it. That's all. Nothing else about that one over there. And we can move on with everything else about that. A lot of comments about Xhekaj's agent or the team would give him a spot to play in the NHL next season if he failed to have one him request a trade. Fear physicality is the way it went now in 2024. Again, I'm not going to say that about that one over there. Look, Mr. Notap, Nicolas Deslauriers, great example. 3 years ago, right? Played the four line
Yep.
with Anaheim, and then he played last more minute, and then he disappeared. He held to scratch with the
It's with
Flyers.
Philadelphia. Yeah, you're right.
Again,
You're right, but
fear, right? But at the end, Mr. Tap, if you don't have the skill, why he does not play anymore? He don't fear anybody now. And then his skill, his speed, the game is he catch him up now. He love is what is the most important thing. It does not go there. And again, that's my point behind that. And yes, you need
they're
players,
different
Mr. Tap. You
players.
need players to be a specific role, but come with the talent and the skill at the end of the day. And
Yeah, I agree.
no,
But they're different types of players, though. We can't make the comparison here between Delorier and Xhekaj. That's
what you mean
a
is a different
different.
kind of players. What you mean?
Well, I think Delorier, he's pretty much he doesn't have like the talent to be a player that can draw regular minutes on the ice. Like
It's
he's
a
going to
four
be
line,
somebody
Mr.
that draws.
Top.
Right. So he's going to draw 7, 8
But
minutes
Xhekaj is a
at the
third
most.
line, Mr. Top. Pairing, third pairing. That's the same thing for me.
Yeah. No, but the defenseman will draw more time than a forward on the fourth line will. All right. One of them is in there for a specific role, and that role is to be a fighter, pretty much. And that's Delorier. That's not the case with Xhekaj. And we
Because
just
we
said
don't
that.
know yet the ceiling about Xhekaj, but I can understand
Right.
you
Exactly.
for that part of
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? For me, it's almost a sign. But a great point, A2, talk about Delaurier about that. I think that's a great example of that situation for that. That's a great, a lot of comments in the chat. Some people go to one way, to another one go to another way. Um,
We stirred the pot.
GSM said Angelin and Bartuzo play in NHL, and so can Xhekaj. Great point right there, Mr. Tap. This is the kind of players you have in the past. Have a great year, a couple of years, and Angela or Angelen, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Tap. But today, can Angelen stay in NHL? We're not sure,
Not really. He's slow. He's slow.
right? So this is the point behind that part. Talent plus physicality, Stanley Cup winner. No, Mr. Frankie. Now you talk my language, Mr. Nata. He said talent first, skill first, plus fear, physicality after that. Yes. But you cannot be fear only without skill, Mr. Nata.
No, I agree.
Cannot. Wayne Simon, Mr. Nata, from A2 again. I Simon cannot play
Retired.
anymore.
Retired.
No, but the last 3 years, Mr. Tap, when he played with the Leaf, he can bring fear. But do you think he can handle the NHL?
No, but I think that's just a mother time that caught up with him because when he was with Philadelphia, he didn't only serve that role. He was also a very good player, especially in front of the net. He's had some very
He was an
successful
excellent forward
years.
forward like Wendell Clark or those kind of players. He can score goal every time like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
agree with you
Yes.
about that. But because the hockey's changed, Mr. Tap, because the hockey has become a speed game, it's about skill wise,
Yes.
accuracy. He could not get up. I think That remind me one thing. I think we don't know talk about this tonight, but maybe next show. Sean Monahan. Why you really careful about Sean Monahan? You talk always the same thing. He's speed of the game. You may be hanging there right now, but what he look like in 3 years. That remind us guys,
Exactly.
Gallagher 4 years ago when he had 3 seasons, 30 goals, everything like that. He gave the money and look today like Gallagher look like at the middle of his contract. This could happen to Monahan. That's the point behind that.
That's why you got to trade him ASAP.
That's why we cannot go against you, Mr. Top. Because you have the sense of the logic of everything.
Not of everything, but we try. We just I left talking about it because we get our opinions out there, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. We're all giving our own opinion, Coach, and I respect everybody's opinion. But like when I look at it from a different lens, I'm not just throwing it out there, and neither do you. Yours is very calculated in terms of what you say, and it's always based on data.
Great point, but Luc Pierre Martin. But Luc, you said a lot of great things, but you're not in front of my computer right now. But Patrick, he does good comments about Xhekaj. Pierre Martin had more comments right there. Gary Conoyer brings something, Mr. Tap. He said,
He always
Xhekaj,
does.
Gary said Xhekaj would prove once again to doubt they are left field. We are left field. We are wrong. I don't think so. We are wrong, Mr. Gary. What we try to explain, I try to explain, he's not at that level yet. And we have to wait a couple of years before we trade him or keep him or whatever happening. So I'm not going to be wrong. I just to be patient with Xhekaj. What happening to him? That's okay. It's not end of the world, guys. You have a health risk Mr. Tap one night. It's not because Martin Saint-Louis is jealous of Xhekaj or Martin Saint-Louis hate Xhekaj. You have a reason he's held to scratch. You have a reason,
Yes,
right?
yes, but it was the way in which it was done
We don't know yet,
that's
Mr. Tap. You have a
what brought
reason we
my
don't
head
know
up.
yet. The reason of
Well,
Martin Saint Louis is easy, Mr. Tap. He does not want the players still and they held to scratch at young age and the stand. That's it, that's all. He was bringing Xhekaj to play against Ottawa Senator. What about he come, Mr. Laptop? In the first meeting, he go to Martin Saint Louis. Martin Saint Louis said, look, I have 3 games this week. I'm not sure if you're going to play the 3 game, but let's see what happening in the first game and tonight and the next game, whatever it is, and then I'm going to reevaluate you for every game until the end of the week, and we'll see what's happening. We don't know the conversation between the coach. I can
That's
promise you
true.
one thing, Mr. Natap. Martin Saint Louis never going to leave any players, whatever is Xhekaj, Jake Allen, or anybody else. He will always wait. He was always communicate with the players. Always. He will never let anybody in the black hole or anybody in the uncertain. He will go straight to the point and explain to the player what's going on, the situation about that.
And that's what we want, right? And Hughes has made that his philosophy, and let's hope that they stick to it moving forward.
Are you bonding, Patrick? Xhekaj is the third pairing defenseman, GSM. One he signed is 1 week deal. The American will be thing of the past week. It won't be a waiver exam. It will demand a trade if the team does not trade him fair about that one there. I don't know how he's going to get his
I'm not
contract,
sure.
GSM.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's converted to a forward that he would demand a trade, unless I'm not getting the full meaning behind that. I think I think he's content as long as he's playing. I think that's the key thing. And at the end of the day, what does it matter if he's making the money as a forward or a defenseman? As long as he's getting the ice time and he's getting to contribute, it's good either way.
Here we go. We have a lot of comments in that the chat. I need vacation. How many hours? 2 days for kids. Work every week. Please give me a break, Patrick. No, it's about the NHL, Patrick. It's not about Mr. Work every single day. It's the NHL situation about that one over there. For that, Randy, my fear for Xhekaj, he would be nervous to make a mistake. He cannot play afraid to make a mistake. I'm telling you right now, he's not being shamed because he make a mistake. I'm telling you right now, he's not making a mistake. They gave him 2 times, and he gave him 3 times and 2 games to take a penalty and maybe say, you know what? And listen, who never been benched in hockey? Everybody get benched. He missed 3 minutes of his TOI at the end, and they returned him on the power play. So what's the big problem for that part over there at the end of the day?
You know what the problem could have been,
I'm sorry
Coach?
again?
What the problem could have been is if you look at also Gallagher, he's had three games in the last, I'd say, 2 weeks where he's taken a very bad penalty at the end of the game.
Which
That's
one?
cost the team. Gallagher, Sean Gallagher. Gallagher, he took about 3 bad penalties in 3 different games
He
towards the
has
end of the
6 bad
game.
penalties this year in the last 5 minutes. The last one was 8 minutes
Yes,
because, again, the 5 minutes.
right. But we never saw anything happen to him in terms of maybe sitting him on the bench. And I know we say we worry about the message that gives when you put a veteran on the bench, but you know what? If they deserve it, they deserve it. If they make mistakes like that are going to cost you the game, and I've always loved Gallagher. It's but you know what? If you're going to make those kind of mistakes, then a message has to be sent out equally
So,
to
Mr. Natab,
everybody.
I have a question for you. Go back on
Go
the
ahead.
game log of Brendan Gallagher. How many seconds he played in the last 5 minutes of the game?
In the last game,
No, all his game.
the
How many times he played the last 5 minutes?
well, lately he's been on the ice towards the end of the
Well, but
game, which
we look
is
about
a
him because he
problem.
take a penalty about that, but he does not play
No,
every the last 5 minutes of the game all the time.
yeah,
So,
there's a reason for that.
but that's the point. So he did not bench him, but they don't use him all the time. I would be honest with you. The last 3 minutes of the game or each game on Dragon, how many times Gallagher play?
I'd say in the last 5 or 6 games that he before his suspension, he
You
was
never
on
you
the
never
ice.
see Gallagher Mr. Tap at the end of the game.
Well, I look back at the games when he got his penalties, Coach, and you'll see they're within the last 5 minutes of the
It
game.
was 8 minutes Mr. Tap head at the head
Okay,
contact.
eight
All right. The
minutes.
last penalty
So
he
within,
got for bad checking for the whole king, it was 5 minutes.
but that wasn't the only game. That was the Islander game.
No,
But there were other.
I'm not said is again. But my point, Mr. Tap, they don't count to Gallagher. At some point, you have to use your players. At the end of the game, you cannot only use Suzuki and Caulfield and Sakoski and Anderson and Monahan for the last 5 minutes. You're not going to send Pesada and send Condola and send Arlonen at your last 5 minutes of the game.
Well, at this stage in his career, I would throw Gallagher in that category as well.
But
I
that's
would
the
not put him
reason. I
out
mean,
there.
again, he does not play the last 3 minutes. So
Well, then
they
I
play
don't know.
about like
Then I'm
7,
watching a
8.
different game.
I'm telling you right now, it's because we just looking about this. I will say to you, they already managed the bench. I will say, give you an idea, Mr. Tap. The last 2 minutes of the game, do you think they sent Xhekaj Kovacevic or do you think they sent Arber Xhekaj? They don't. They really be careful about that, who is on the last of the game. It's unfortunate. Gallagher does not deserve to be there for first of all. Again, you have a reason why he get bad checking, he get a penalty, Mr. Tap. He
It's
got a
because
penalty
of lack of
because he have a
speed.
lack of speed and he had difficulties.
Got beat.
But Mr. Natap, why is bad checking? Because something happened
Because
on
he
the
got
ice. He did not do well. Like he have a 2
Yes.
versus 1 or a 3 versus 2. Something make a mistake before that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not
That's the
defending
problem.
Gallagher. I'm not defending Gallagher. My point to you, Mr. Natap, it's harder to bench a Gallagher versus a Xhekaj.
Uh,
Mr.
I don't know.
Natap,
I
he
don't think you
gave
can put
13
those
years of
filters
his
on.
life at the team. Right? It's
Yeah.
harder. It's easier, Mr. Natap, to set to promote. You're not going to play this week at Jake Allen.
Yeah, but that's a totally different
But
conversation, Coach.
but
You're
now it's
basing
the
it
same thing, Mr.
on what
Natap.
they
It's the
did.
same thing. You try to punish a veteran versus a young player. This is a part of the coaching, guys. You have to understand. Sometimes you have to look about the locker room impact behind your decision. Right? It's easier to set up those kind of situations with your veteran versus the young players. This is not, you have no bar. again in hockey, she said you're going to give a little bit more loose to the veterans versus a young player. Just a normal. People in the chat, Mr. Tap, talk about they watching Xhekaj closer. Why, Mr. Tap? The referee checked the Xhekaj closer. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think the referee watched Xhekaj more?
Well, because he's got that reputation.
Because first of all, that kind of reputation. Secondly, is a young player. They were watching him more compared to Petrangelo. Petrangelo can maybe hit the same situation. It will not give the penalty to Petrangelo, but easier to put Xhekaj in the penalty box, Mr. Tap. Same thing with a young player versus Bergeron or any other players. They get those kind of reputation with the time. Same thing with the coaching, Mr. Tap. It's not easy. You have to be at fun path of thinking to bench someone, a veteran versus a young player. You don't go to bench Gallagher, Mr. Tap. What
Yeah.
you do, you don't
But
use him.
coach,
That's it.
having said that, Martin St. Louis had no problem last year sitting somebody like a Mike Hoffman. There's a veteran who's done things in his career, but when he saw he was making a mistake and he was a liability defensively, sit at the end of the bench, especially at the end of the game.
I agree
He
with
had
you,
no
Mr.
problem
Tap.
there.
Now,
But now we
Mike
have
Hoffman,
problem with
Mr. Tap,
Galley.
is it one of your leader on your team?
No, it's a different kind of player.
No, Mr. Tap. Is Mike Hoffman is a leader on your team? Is it Mike Hoffman play a specific role inside the locker room? Is it Mike Hoffman is a complainer or is a leader?
He's not a leader. No, that's
So
not
that's
the
the
point.
reason, Mr. Tap. They can't bench him all day long because he's not playing a specific role in your team. That's my point behind that, Mr. Tap. You have to realize what his locker room is, what a veteran play, what a young player play, and to look about who they are. That's what the decision come with that part over there. That's what you're thinking. Now, Mr. Tap, it's 2-2, right? And now you play the last minute. Do you think you send Gallagher or not? You don't send Gallagher because you have a reputation. But my point behind that, you don't punish Gallagher the same way you punish Xhekaj the same way. Because the reputation of who they are, the specific rate. Like you talk about Mike Hoffman. Easy to bench all day long, Mr. Tap. Yeah, is not get any respect around the team, right? What do you think Thomas Tatar got left Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Tap?
Well, I mean, there's a number of reasons. One, it starts with his contract.
Remember, Mr. Tap, Thomas Tatar during
At
the
the same
playoff.
time, they do.
Remember,
Yeah,
Mr. Tap?
he disappeared.
No, but remember,
that's
Mr. Tap, during the playoff, Thomas Tatar, during the practice,
yeah.
left the ice.
Okay.
That was the end for him with Montreal. Kokanemi, when he blasts Montreal Canadiens and Finland on the article complaining about his ice time, Montreal play hardball with Kokanemi. By the way, Mr. Tap, how many points he has Kokanemi in the last 2 months?
2, I think.
3 of them, Mr. Tap. He's going to be another finalist of the Turkey Award in 2024, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be.
How about
Not
that one there?
Not that we ever thought otherwise.
Because don't like you, you are dead about this one over there. Edger put Xhekaj Baron on the waiver when they have one of the contract, but we get claim GSM. I'll be disagree with you, GSM, about this. I don't know, Mr. Azar. Do you think Montreal going to around and to put Baron or Xhekaj on the waiver?
No, I don't think so, unless they're waiver exempt, right? That's the only reason they would go. At this point, they're going to be very careful with the assets that they have, especially the defensemen. There will come a time when they're going to have to make some very hard decisions. That was one of our headliners not too long ago. And those decisions will be made, and sometimes they're made for you based on how the players start to perform or not perform, and that makes your decision a little bit easier. But until that happens, they're going to I would not be surprised, Coach, if we finish, overall, if we finish in the bottom 5 or 6 again, and it comes to the draft, I would not be surprised if Montreal, uh, takes a solid defenseman if he's available at that position. I would not be surprised. I still think they'll go with the best player and not what their need is at. And if that means they pick up another defenseman that's going to be in their eyes maybe just as good, if not better than Reinbacher, then they might just do that.
No, Rebecca going nowhere, Mr. Up.
No, he's not going anywhere. But I'm saying if a very good defenseman is available, and there are, I would say in the top 10, half of those are defensemen that are going to be selected in the top 10 picks this year, is my guess. And so depending on where Montreal's pick lands, they could be put into a situation where they have to make a very important decision. Do we draft because we need a forward and we take the best forward that's there? Or is this defenseman better than the forward that we're trying to select? And therefore we take the best player. I always maintain you take the best player and then you deal with your assets in other ways through trades or whatever the case might be. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised or alarmed if Montreal goes with a defenseman if they're in that situation.
I said that, Mr. Antap, like you said, like a couple of weeks ago about that situation, and that's the right thing, and
Yeah,
Mr. Antap, you should always pick the best player you feel you fit in your organization, and not because you're missing a piece of puzzle. Remember Kokanemi, Mr. Antap, this is the right reason they select Kokanemi, I believe, in my opinion, because Kokanemi, Mr. Antap, wasn't at the top 10.
right.
And they go there because they said 6'3" and they thought center, it would be fine about that. They saw another Sebastian Ao behind him. His number was pretty good, and his number was pretty good in Finland as a player, but it was not played that level about that when you miss a Prady Kachuk. It's easy to talk about this today, but for me, it's not matter if. But Mr. Tap, a big question for the fans for now in the chat and you. If Dimidov is available at number 5 or 6, and now you have Dickinson, the defenseman, Sam
Yeah,
Dickinson, where he's going to be a solid player like a Rebecca. They expect to be a solid defenseman in NHL, right? And I just mentioned him. He could be another defenseman, right? Or you have Carl Lindstrom at 6. I think Lindstrom could be there. But
could be.
whatever
Yeah,
whatever it is, Mr. Tap, my question to you is Demidov is still at number 6. What do you do?
That's not an easy position to be in. I still say you go with the best player that's available.
But again, Mr. Tap, every year, the last 2 years, since Ken Hughes is the manager, they are always in the bad situation on the pick. And now said they pick the bad players. They just on the pick on the bad situation. When I said that, Mr. Tap, I think they did well with Sakoski as the first overall pick, but it was not a great year to be number
It
one,
wasn't a great year.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Last year,
and
the best 4 players, Mr. Tap, was before them.
yeah, totally,
And now
totally.
they have to select Rebecca or Mishkov. They went with Rebecca. And this year, it could be the same scenario for them. They could be at a situation where they have to pick Demidov, or they have to pick a Lindstrom or a Catton or an Elnius versus another defenseman where the people will be upset they don't take a forward versus
That's
a
right.
good
Yeah,
defenseman could be a good defenseman. For me, Mr. Tap, every year right now, they are on the situation, they are and difficult
yeah,
difficult decision.
yeah. But it's not, at the end of the day, it's not going to be a bad choice that they're going to make, right? Because, like I said, you can always deal assets that you have an excess of to address your areas of need when the time comes. It could be the following year. And the other thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Coach, you would know more than me, and Michael Devellano as well. This year's group of draftees, I think they're one of the youngest that we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
Is that true?
yeah.
So you got not too many are going to be able to join the National Hockey League right away, like we've seen in the last couple of years or so. You're going to see a lot of these players. They're going to require an extra year or two to develop, and they're going to have to, pay their dues there before they come up, and that's something that's going to elongate that development process that we've been talking about, that rebuilding process.
Absolutely about that for sure. A lot of people in the chat. Roy is back in the house tonight. Bob on gold give us some update. Some great plays with them. Mr. Tap still out. Montreal Canadiens. I will wait for that, Mr. Tap. The
Okay.
news of the week, Mr. Tap. Xhekaj returned with Montreal. Roy was sent to
Oh,
Laval, and
Xhekaj.
Allen was back in the L2 scratch for that one there.
Yeah.
Montreal can have a better power play, Mr. Tap. What makes Montreal a better power play?
Well, I think they've been a little bit more patient with the puck. They've I think Slafkovsky being there has helped immensely. I think that he's also made players around him better as well. I like the fact that Caulfield, if we're talking about players of improvement, Caulfield really is showing that he's more than just a unidimensional player. It's not just about scoring with him. I've noticed an improvement in his checking. I've noticed improvement in his passing. He's starting to get a lot more assists now as well. This is a player that's coming around full circle, and I noticed he's also been a little bit more creative on the power play as well. Again, we come across the problems we still don't have a true quarterback on the power play. And I think that as long as that's the case, it's going to stymie our power play. Yes, we can show improvement like we have, but it's still not going to be where it needs to be because of that.
About this, Carl, you talk about fight. I talk about fear. I don't think so. I talk about fight a lot. Frankie, I don't know what you can say about that. Why fight has been underappreciated, I believe, for the Montreal Canadiens. Quick question for Patrick Messantap. Do you accept the Flyers reconstruction seem to have surpassed the Montreal Canadiens reconstruction?
Let me just read that again. Do you accept that the
The Flyers
Flyers reconstruction
seem to have
seem to
surpassed
have surpassed the
the Habs?
Habs? I, you know what? I don't think that that's necessarily true. We're starting to see them sort of coming down to earth a little bit more. I mean, I give a lot of credit to the fact that they're a little bit healthier this year. They've had some key players return to their lineup, and now that we see they've suffered a couple of injuries last couple of games, and they're also now they don't have Hart and net for who knows how long. That's going to create problems. I think a lot of credit has to be given to Tortorella as well, because he's instilled a system in which they can be successful in, and it's a system that is successful because of the way it's played. They block a lot of shots. They're very aggressive on the penalty kill. You'll notice that they get a lot of odd man breaks when it comes to penalty kill, and even their power play is much more effective. I don't know down the road if that will sustain itself, and we're starting to see them coming down in the pack, right? Like I still don't believe that they'll be in the playoffs when all is said and done. But yeah, great improvement from last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say to you, they are not this. I cannot compare the Flyers to the Montreal Canadiens for reconstruction. The center top. They don't act like a trade. They did not act like a team on rebuilding the center top yet. They send
Exactly.
all the dead wood like a GVR and Kevin Hayes. So it's not like they are a team in reconstruction. They trade Provorov for and the Columbus Blue Jacket. Mr. Tap.
Right.
For me, you need 2 years. One, they said that. Now they have to trade Konechny, Carter Hart, Obi Hart, Sanheim, Couturier, Farabi. This is if they want to rebuild, but you cannot compare both teams at this moment.
No, no, I agree. I think they've had, and that's probably been their biggest downfall over the last few years, is that they refused to believe that they were going to be, or they should have been in a rebuilding stage. They always thought retool. And now you're starting to see, with the exception of this year's past draft, that they really don't have much in the cupboard in terms of prospects, and it's going to take a while for that to build and to get these guys at the NHL level. Um, and also don't forget they do have they've always had a few key players that they've maintained, and they're starting to have very good years this year. So that's helped out immensely.
Yeah, absolutely about that one there. So let's just look at the standing. One, the motor trade Albert, they will biggest mistake they can do, Frankie, about that one there. Roger
Don't worry,
said,
Frankie, they won't trade him.
hello, coach, Arber would be better que Cooley.
I doubt that. I hope so, because that bodes well for Montreal, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
Now, Roger said, we fired Martin St. Louis. Here we go. Roger said, we fired Martin St. Louis. Power play coach, trade Anderson, Gallagher, Harris, Coley, Savard, Madison, Monahan, Caulfield, Ziski, and Allen A. Pearson.
And more to come.
And who they get and who going to play Roger? I don't know. For this, here you go. His name is Albert, not Albert. For that one, I don't even want to do this. It's because he can get 20 points, and the last 33 games, his point first 2 years would be very similar to Jack Hughes the first 2 seasons. If he can get 20 points the last 33, it will say Jack Hughes will only the patient, the same sort of the prospect as some of Russell Duncan bad contract issue. Roy said Wi-Fi has become the Martin St. Louis whippy boy. Again, I don't know what I don't understand. Don't understand why the people think that way, Mr. Top. I don't understand at all. Like, don't
It's
understand.
just the optics of it. It's the optics of it. That's all it is.
Don't understand about that one over there. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Do you help to
I
scratch
understand.
Coley, Madison, Saval? No, you go with what you have. You use your third pair defenseman.
Yeah.
Frankie said Martin Louis missed respect about Xhekaj, the same guy he gave blood to the team.
Let's leave Jack Eye out now. I think we've exhausted that topic.
I think you're right, but I'm French Albert, so my mistake. Gallagher play hard and he had a good career, but he's not good anymore. That we are always giving many excuse for the ad not performing, but there are no reason for it. And I thought he's right. All should be treated at the same. You said you discriminate again a third and fourth line player compared to the top 6 players for that part. Roger, I don't know what you're talking about. Came aside on the trade deal with first round pick with understanding it would be traded to another team. A2, Martin Sweet wrote third for line most of the game. Gali is on the ice a lot in the last minute. Got to earn that paycheck. A2, I would disagree with you. Martin Sweet not wrote 4 line. He really wrote 3 line, Mr. Top.
Yeah, he does. For most of the game, he does.
Yeah. Mr.
I
Top,
think
the end of the night,
he's,
every game, the last minute, who have the last minute? Pesada, 7,
yeah, the
Condoda,
fourth line, of course.
right?
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Like, by the time the game is important and the time is running out, you see usually he goes with the top 3 lines. The problem is, I don't know. I'm not so pleased to see Anderson on an overtime, 3-on-3. I think that's a bit of a recipe for disaster, and it has been, especially in the last game against Pittsburgh. I mean, he was on the ice when that happened as well. Yes, he does have very good speed, but he doesn't necessarily. He's very unpredictable, Coach. And how do you see this? Because I see with Anderson, he's very unpredictable with the puck. And I think the teammates that he's with, and that's why he's not fitting in with any particular line. They see him as very unpredictable as well. They just don't know. Is he going to be passing? Is he going to be shooting? Is he going to go around the net? What's he going to be up to? And I see that he's making strides and trying to improve his game, and I admire him for that. But uh, I don't know if it's just hockey IQ. Maybe it's just not there, or he's not communicating well with his line mates. But something has to be done, and you can't. By all means, you cannot put him on an overtime period 3-on-3. I think that's a recipe for disaster.
How about that one there? Kokanemi has already picked and then person make it ever worse. About that one, Jomanet Tata source is used is country. Who care about the fastest is paid to score goal. About that one there. Let's move on, Mr. Tap, for other things. We have at the moment to go. Mr. Tap, one of the problem on 12 Canadians so far, I did some search. The bottom six, Mr. Tap, they are at the bottom five in NHL. They have 31 goals, Mr. Tap, from different 8 players at the bottom six. So usually they have 6 players. I give you 2 more players right there. They have 8 at the beginning of the season. Most of the team over there, right? One of them, Mr. Tap, and I exclude Anderson, Mr. Tap, because they use him on the first 2 lines most of the time of the season. So if you remove the 18 goal for Gallagher and Armia, Mr. Tap, 6 front players for them, they have 15 goals only, including RHP, Jesse Allen,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jake Evans, 2 goals, Mr. Tap.
Yep.
And then after that, you have Michael Peseta. And then you have the backup, the center. You can use Mitchell or Condoda together.
Yeah. And Pearson is another one, and
It's only one.
you can go on and
Todd
on.
Pearson's
Yeah.
number 6 right there.
Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest problems for the Montreal Canadiens they have right now. They have no support. If Monahan, Zuski, Caulfield, Sakoski, and Sakoski have only 7 goals, right? Does not score. And Montreal, because the defensemen score a lot of goals this year, this is not looking good when you think about the situation for Montreal Canadiens. They need support of the third line and the fourth line.
Absolutely. They don't have the depth right now. And I think that that's part of the strategy why you're seeing the defenders, they're pinching in on offense because, I mean, there's some talented players with good shots on the defensive end. And it's the reason why we're probably, if not number one, either number 2 or 3 in defensive scoring this year in the National Hockey League. I think that was a good adjustment that Martin St. Louis made, and that's to get his defense involved a little bit more on the offensive side. But of course, in doing that, there's going to be nights when they make a mistake, and that mistake is going to be a glaring mistake, and that's what we're going to remember more than anything else.
Yeah. Patrick Leblanc, KK comparable to last Eller. KK was a 3rd round pick. I think Eller was 11 or 16 overall pick. Sometimes I mess up Armia with Eller, but I think it is. The best comment so far is
From
it's
Luke.
A2. Have all a
Oh,
franchise and transition. We're going to have a lot of things to complain about.
of course, and that's what makes these conversations that much more interesting for
Um,
sure.
Yep, sorry about that one over there. GSM, you're concerned about Baron and Xhekaj for be a waiver. I agree with you. It'll be a really difficult next year, Mr. Nata, because all of them are now out of the waiver exam. About that, Leon Renault, Dickinson, big and great about this. Leon, a great point about this. Look, does not want Timidov. He doesn't want any Russian players on his team for that one over there.
Sounds like Don Cherry.
GSM go with drafting Catton.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick.
Welcome back, Jimmy
It,
Bain. Jimmy Bain, Mr. Tap, 2 years in the manner of the developed defenseman. I think that's going to be the case for Mayu, Mr. Tap.
you think he'll still be there for 2 years?
Yeah, I think it would be return again next year.
Oh, it's possible, but I think he's close, Coach. I think he's
He's getting
close.
there, Mr. Tap, but still in the NHL consistency, I think he need to improve more. And the fact he did not play a lot of game in the last 18 months before this year, I think that
Yeah,
would
that's a
push
good point.
his review is going to push him back a little bit more. Now, I don't say not going to
Develop.
see him and before the end of the season. I don't see him maybe, but the fact like if they don't trade Sabaus Kovacevic and they still have Ray Barker now, I feel Ray Barker is going to be in front of him because he's the one
Maybe,
that got drafted by
maybe.
the Montreal Canadian staff right now compared to Mayu. So I feel like, but it would not be bad for him to be again Laval with more responsibility as a leader and everything like that overall, Mr. Nata.
Well, we've seen a great improvement from last year to this year, right? He's also their representative at the All Star game for Laval, and he's putting together a fantastic year, especially in the last month and a half. He's been really performing well. I like what I'm seeing so far in terms of his development. You're right, maybe one more year. I wouldn't say two though. I think come second year
But,
he's
Mr.
up
Nata, I
here.
was including this year, so I apologize. I was
Oh,
including
okay, okay,
this year plus another year. So, um,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, 2 years in Laval. That's what was behind that. But you're absolutely about that one over there. Great point, Roy, about Martin, about Marc Bergevin. Patrick, I would disagree. Zuski, Dano, and KK, you have not wondering about your center line for a decade. I disagree with you. Dano, he has only 10 goals
Regression to the mean.
about that. Great year, 27 before that. GSM Langstrom would be draft top four. Not so disagree with you about that one there. Joe Menendez get a 100 point, and that'd be easy to get that one over there for sure. A nice slate of player to draft in the top 10. I agree with you, Steve G, for that one for sure. Closer to the net. If I don't keep Ski Canada, no, there are no rebel. It will still have a job in Montreal. Not sure about that one there. A2, Madison is getting better on the power play. Less mistake. Sakoski is getting confidence, Mr. Tap. 4 minutes to go remaining. I have a lot of things to talk about this, Mr. Tap. Caulfield is shuttle one to Mexico. Here we go.
Why Mexico?
Do you think she pay a trip to miss I don't know. We'll see what happens about that. I don't want to talk about this because you're really
Don't
for
go
me.
there. Don't go there.
I'm not done yet. I want to talk about this because I am feeling sad because Rick Bengal is not here, Mr. Tap.
Oh no. I knew you were going to Slavkovsky.
Mr. Tap,
Yeah,
check this one.
let's talk Slavkovsky. Look at this. This there. Look at that, Peter Mahovlich. Look at him go. That should have been a goal. It would have been nice.
Peter
Nice
Mahavli
move.
was a left shooter.
I believe so. Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. He reminds me so much. Like when he gets when he gets his skates going like that, and he's got some decent moves that he hasn't displayed too much, but it's there. We've seen it in spurts. I don't know. He just gives me the impression that
Yeah, it was
he's
a
got
left
that
too. Yeah, it was a
lankiness.
left shooter.
Yeah.
When you said that, is he's remind us when he's really close to the players. Like he wait at the
Yeah.
last second to make a move. Like he's holding the
That's
puck
right.
longer. Great point about that for that one. So it's
I
great to
mean,
see that.
I doubt he'll ever have the statistical success of a Peter
Same
Mahovlich,
number, right?
but if he ever comes close to it, then it's been a great pick.
Might have lit 6'5", Mr. Nata.
6'5". Slavkovsky 6'5", I believe, as well, right? Or 6'4".
6'3".
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so. Really?
yeah.
Okay.
And I will check again, but because you paid my attention last time, yeah, 6'3".
6'3". Okay.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
my mistake.
At some point, it was 6'4", but they cut him 1 inch.
They chopped him down an inch. Okay.
They got him. But guys, Sakaski. So, Mr. Tap, Sakaski, guys, last game, 1 goal, 7 shot attempts. He does not shoot a lot. He tries 7 times. He has 6 scoring chance to score, Mr. Tap, last game. 3 of them on the at the high danger. High danger, Mr. Tap, is right there in front of the net. And he had 2 hit, a 2 takeaway puck. This is a great game for Manan,
Very
for
good.
Sakaski, and he does this not many. He does this many times since he got confidence, Mr. Tap. Now here's what interesting, Mr. Tap. The X goal,
Yeah.
Mr. Tap. Caulfield, Ziski, and Anderson. Here's the goal against the Pittsburgh 5 point. The goal against Islanders 5.7. So at the time, Manan, Armia, and Sakaski 85.0. Last game against Pittsburgh, the first line stepped up a little bit more, but again, Sakaski, Manan, and Armia beat them at 60%, Mr. Tap.
Yeah.
My point behind that, Mr. Tap, Sakaski made an impact. Whatever he played with, he's going to helping your players around them. Someone said Manan helping Sakaski. I said no. Sakaski helping that. Many games, Mr. Tap, Sakaski help Caulfield and Ziski when they play together. And this development, his
Totally.
improvement is really solid about that. That brings to me, Mr. Tap, great job for Martin Saint-Louis. He did with to believe on Sakaski. And Sakaski, Mr. Tap, is getting closer and closer. The reason they got draft #1 overall pick. Really great season for Sakaski so far. Not on the outcome, but the way he developed, because many fans last year, his head is down. He should play an American Hockey OHL, whatever it was, and he cannot stay there. And we're complaining a lot about Sakaski. And the key behind that, Mr. Tap, for the end of the show, because I knew I'm going to get burned about Xhekaj. I knew that. But I want to respond
No.
this one from Mr. Tap at the end of the show right now with Sakaski. It was the word patient with Sakaski. Same thing need to apply with Xhekaj. To be patient with him, whatever it is right now. Montreal not going to trade him. Montreal does not thinking. No one should thinking. They don't like Xhekaj. They treat Xhekaj exactly like anybody other players. They give him the best tool they can become, the best player he can be. And the time we tell us either the top 4, a top 6. Now, Mr. Tap, we can be all different opinion about that. I don't see him at the top 4. If I'm be wrong, I'll be great. And we see if Frankie or Roger Ouellet believe is a top pairing defenseman in NHL. I don't see that right now, but the time will tell us. But the key, Mr.
No.
Tap, at the end of the show, it was more about to be patient, not only with Xhekaj Sakaski, Mr. Tap, with the development and improvement Montreal Canadian in the next 2 years. And if you have the time, Mr. Tap, do your homework. I'll give you a homework, Mr. Tap.
Go ahead. We have some days off.
Go get you go check the UFA in 2025 and 2026.
Yes. I
Looking
already have.
great. It's looking good, Mr. Tap, for that.
There's one 16-year-old that looks amazing, but we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, I agree. I mean, his success will not be necessarily in terms of numbers right now. I just like a lot of the improvements that he's made from last year's game, from putting 2 hands on the stick and going to difficult areas on the ice, being a little bit more creative. I think it was A2 that made a statement in the chat I just saw a little while ago, and I totally agree with him. Yes, the improvement's been there, but he's still very unpolished in terms of he tried, for example, just to give you an instance, on the power play, he tried a one-timer and, he looked like he was out of sorts. Those are things that come with time and practice and practice and practice. And that's part of the patience that we have to sort of put up with. And it's not a easy fan base to use that word in, because Montreal fans do not like to necessarily take their time about getting to something. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's maybe based on the fact that, there's been so much success in the past that it's almost an expectation. When you win too much sometimes, it's an expectation that you're always at the top of the heap, and that's not the case, right? Like these are a bit lean times, and they have to build to get back to get anywhere near where they were, let's say in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even the early 90s. But they'll get there. They'll get there because I think they have the right people in place, and it's something that they take pride in.
I agree with you about that. Willie Snyder is in the chat, Mr. Tap. We'll come back, Mr. Willie Snyder. A
Well,
lot of great comments between. I don't know why the people talk about the Flowers, by the way. I don't know.
well, they've been a good success story this year,
Yeah, they have a lot
Coach.
of great comments about that. It's just funny.
Yeah.
They talk a lot back and forth about this. Frankie Leodis, he said, Martin Saint-Louis won all the players like a Lady Bank winner. I just said, Frankie, for me, Martin Saint-Louis won the players to become a 200-feet game players. That's really what I believe Martin Saint-Louis is trying to teaching, like Caulfield, Zuski, and other young players about that one there. And then Mr. Tap, backup is Lady Bank. I will love him, Leon Renault. Mr. Tap, Frankie said, looking at the center line of the AB, they could have 5 Lady Bank candidates. Zuski, Evan, Devorak, Monen, and you hook absolutely 0 at center. We said to you, Mr. Patrick, Zuski, Evans, Devorak all been traded by Marc Bergevin, never been around with Ken Hughes and, of course, Jeff Gordon. And you forget, Patrick, to mention the name Kirby Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Bank for Kirby Doc, Patrick, about that? I don't think so. I don't think so about that one over there. KK has 18 points this year with Caroline. Anderson has 13. I would say both are Deadwood for that part of there. And our key players. Because Coley is a shutdown defenseman, proved himself at Crosby. I agree with you about that one over there. As injured, he went down to the third line. I said is key for St. Capilena. I said third line for line coach. KK is on minus 28. Really?
Slavkovsky?
Kokanemi?
Kokanemi? Yeah, he is actually, I believe. If it's not minus 28, it's very close. It's double digits for sure.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And remember, a lot of the success he had.
No, he's minus 11, Mr. Tap.
Okay, it's double digits, yeah. A lot of the success he had, though, Coach, was at the beginning of the year when he was moved up to the second line because of some of the injuries on Carolina. And he was with some very good teammates there, line mates.
He was driving Mr. Tap at 60% face-offs during that time.
That's right, yeah.
Now he dropped at 49.
Right, and that's not surprising. I think we're starting to almost see the ceiling to where KK is at. I don't know if it gets much better in the future.
A lot of great comments, guys. Bob, the A2, Patrick, Abination, about that one. Gallagher contract is like a Tiger 10-ton weight 4 years. Jim, you're sorry about that one there. People
You're
does
right.
not like anymore GSM. What to say, Arber is for that only a fact about this one there. Frankie, think about this, Frankie. All right. Madison Coley, we create mistake, Frankie, all the time because they play again the best player on the ice. They bring something. Xhekaj cannot do it right now, Mr. Frankie. If you have a reason, Frankie, 2 minutes, think about this, Frankie. Why he does not play on the first pairing? Why he does not play against Crosby, McDavid, and the top line for opponent team, Frankie? They have a reason, yeah. You have a reason behind that. Martin Saint-Louis is not stupid. He know. He have a reason why, right? Because he's not had the talent yet, the skill to compete against the top line. Said that, it's nothing against Xhekaj. His skill is not good enough right now to play against a top line. That's the reason you're going to make mistake by Madison and Coley. That's the reason sometimes they get penalty because they are overwhelming to play against McDavid and again other players that they play again every night, night after night. Same thing, Mr. Tap. We judge a lot Suzuki, Mr. Tap. But every night he faced to the best line against him. And that's the reason he's minus whatever it is. He's a learning process like Coley is a learning process. Mr. Tap, before that, Madison, he was second pairing all his career. Now he played with Montreal. That's the reason behind that, Frankie. Again, I'm telling you right now, Mr. Frankie, and anybody that chat, Martin St. Louis have nothing against Xhekaj. Martin St. Louis want every player become better. And that will satisfy his team to become better. Now, Xhekaj, he need to play at the level he expect to play and do the best he can be. And he's going to be a third pairing defenseman. Great. If he become a second pairing defenseman, that'll be better. If he become a first pairing defenseman, it'll be awesome with the physicality he has. But right now, it's not the same level like Coley, Madison, and Santap.
Yeah.
Roger Willett said he's going to be better to Coley. I don't see that yet. He did not show to me enough to become that kind of player in NHL, Mr. Roger. Again, all of you respect. Yeah, maybe better. This is your favorite player, and it's all good. I have no problem with that part. I just not see that. And when you said I don't like the player, I think it's not fair because for me, I don't see that way. I see what is missing as a player. What he does not have that skill yet to become that kind of player. That's the only thing that's fun for me when I consider a player like Mr. Tap. How many times I said Montembeault is not for me a goaltender number one yet. I see that last year, and I was very
Yeah.
hard. Ellen Key was against me. Rick Benka was against me. Now, can he put me wrong? No. He's still a goaltender number two.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Montreal is ready to make the playoffs, I'm not so sure that Montebo will be the number one. He'll
It went
definitely
on.
be the number
I
two. Then
think it would be a number two, Mr. Tap.
I would agree with that.
I think, by the way, talking about Montebo, Mr. Tap, will give you a little bit, a 3 minute more, Mr. Tap, because it was a great weekend for the prospect, Mr. Tap. Rebecca finally
Ooh,
turned the lights on with 3 assists in 2 games. It was a great matchup, guys. David versus
Goliath.
Fowler versus Hudson, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, I
Fowler won
mean,
both game 4-1, 4-3. And Hudson have only 1 assist, but the star of the weekend, Mr. Tap, Jacob Fowler. What a great performance he did during the weekend for the Boston College, beat the Boston
awesome.
University. So Fowler took advantage 2-0 again, Hudson during the weekend, Mr. Tap. But Animal looking good, Mr. Tap. Scored 2 goals again during the weekend with that loss of 7-4. Laval
Laval.
Rocket lost during the weekend, unfortunately. But we have to give credit for Eben and Eman. This player, Mr. Tap, is the both ways about that one with them. And
He's
nobody
on the
talk about
bubble.
Eman and Eman, Mr. Tap. They return Eman and Laval, and nobody talk about him. They talk about Xhekaj. I understand about that. Just checking about this.
Well,
Coach, Roy said, Coach, intimidation is the new fear. I don't think so.
mm,
I don't think so.
I wouldn't use the word. You shouldn't be intimidating. I think I'm trying to think of what the proper word would be to use here, but I think that you should stand your ground. That's not necessarily intimidation, but you should play the game to the best of your own ability, and then I think people will eventually respect that, and they know what they're going to get from you. Um, I don't know. I maybe it's just me, Roy. I'm getting the word intimidation maybe misdefined. I'm not sure, but I don't know if it's the new fear.
Yeah, I agree with you about that one over there. I think more about fear, about everything like that. Frankie said, Coach, the career Xhekaj is over. Remember my word. Now, a minute, Frankie, like 2 minutes ago, you said he's going to be better career again, Coley. And now we said he's going to be scoring. It's over about that one over there. I don't think so, Frankie, about that.
He'll
So
be
still
good,
be a good
Frankie.
player
He'll
for
be
that
good.
for many years. Mr. Tap, Sarkozy should be on the PK, long stick, defensive. They have a good stick, Mr. Tap.
Who's that?
Sarkozy.
Salkowski. Yes, yes. He's got a
Uh,
great reach.
6-4, so Casey is growing. Madison need to pass. Zakowski more on the power play. Sam, I would passing to him. Here's the point, GSM. Remember that one again. I understand. I have a picture I did not have bring tonight. He should pass the puck to Zakowski. Was more open. He decided to shoot the puck. But remember, guys, a left shoulder at the point on top always going to targeting the guy on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to pass the puck that way at turning that way.
Right.
Right? Not said that you cannot do it. I understand that. But that's easier that way over there for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say to you, for me, it's, I don't think Madison don't want to pass the puck, but it's his mind is easier to go that way over there. And sometimes you maybe not look enough to watch Zakowski is open up about that one there. But again, I don't defend Madison. He just need to pass the puck a little bit more on that one.
And he's not the true quarterback. He's not a true quarterback on the power play. He's there as the fill-in. I'm telling you, this will change drastically once you have somebody that is the quarterback there. Just look at Vancouver with Quinn.
For that one, to RJ, if you have to choose, you go with Zakowski. That look like is the main of the RJ about this one over there. Talk about Kubidak. Get hurt, maybe start up. In that game, Zakowski natural from game to beat power play. A great improvement.
What's that? What did he say?
Luc Lafortune from Gumby to Pete Mahovlich is a great improvement.
Don't worry, he'll get there, buddy. Mon ami.
Making a play without any question. Sarkozy very immature, like a player, but look good. So imagine for future. Frankie, I agree with you about that one over there. Somebody's must go call the coach. For sure, going to players, so he's going to get into Sarhead. KK percentage 6% since the beginning of the season year and the year out. His spot is time about that one there. KK is the top 4 line center with 18 points. I could get more points to him. Good Lord. About that one there, Mr. Tap. Do you see the ad trading Rebecca, Mr. Tap?
No. I don't see that. Not at all.
Bien sûr, non. KK is minus 11. Patrick, confirm. Mr. Tap. We talked about Kokelmi like 5 minutes ago, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, I know. And
right?
Time flies.
5 more points make him a VMP. Further personality is incredible. Real check character kid and the trade value about that one there. Here we go, Mr. Tap. I think we go through this very well. For that, I don't think so. We can go stop everything like that. What I never see Xhekaj have a better career. No, is no, Mr. Frankie was not you. It was Roger Willett, Mr. Tap. So sorry about that, Frankie. Like Ben Code broke Arber and they missed his career. I don't think so, Mr. Frankie. Just wait. Time will tell us on the shirt, Mr. Tap. Patrick said, "What group is on your shirt, Mr. Tap?"
It's not a group. It's the Sopranos special anniversary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's their, I think, 25th.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, since the series came out.
That's awesome, Mr. Tap. We passed the time, Mr. Tap, because we have vacation. That's the reason we passed the time, Mr. Tap.
I gotta go to work, Coach.
I'm going to be back Wednesday night, guys, for the locker room with Marco and our Tap. This Wednesday night will be all over the place, Mr. Tap. We're going to talk about Montreal Canadiens, the review of the season so far. What you expect at the trade deadline? What your expectation at the end of the year? What kind of player do you think you're going to be drafted? We're going to go all the blah 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 like we did tonight. And are you going to be back, Coach, during the week? I don't know, Mr. Tap. If I pop up, I'll maybe pop up because I miss one day. It's not a big deal. 2 days, it'll be hard for me. So I maybe pop up. If we pop up, Mr. Tap, we're going to talk about the NHL around what's going on and maybe some news around the league. But this is the week of dedication. I would maybe do the competition I don't know what time is the competition, but it's a normal time for me. I'll maybe do the competition, but we'll see, Mr. Tap, what happened that.
Okay.
So,
We look forward to it, Coach.
party past dime, Mr. Tap. Yes, look, I'm at the bus this week. Mr. Tap, great week
He's
for
the
me.
GOAT.
Mr.
The
Tap,
GOAT.
Mr. Tap, I have a problem right now.
You're too good.
The problem, Mr. Tap, is my hockey fantasy.
Uh-oh. Is this
I'm
restricted?
losing right now, Mr. Tap, again.
Oh.
150 to 130 or 158, whatever it is. But every week in the last 4 weeks, yes, I was compete with everybody else. I will
You'd be
win
winning.
90% of my game, Mr. Tap. But unfortunately, every time
That's
they play
like-
against me, the opponent team have a great year. So I'm a little bit sad about that.
But
That show me something, Mr. Tap. The outcome of something sometimes is not represent exactly what you look like at the end of the night. That's show Montreal Canadiens guys. They play for 500, Mr. Tap, but they don't look like they is a team of 500. Obviously, the performance of the
that's the
goaltender make the Montreal Canadiens better at the end of the night, Mr. Tap. But
Yeah.
what a great night, Mr. Tap, because
Oh.
you are who you are.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
What a great night, Mr. Tap, for everybody in the chat. We thanks everyone to join us live. What a great co-host we got every night. That's the reason why the people come back, Mr. Tap. They love the debate, they love the talking, they love the sharing, and they respect. That's the most important thing. I didn't see any negative in the chat tonight. I didn't see anybody against anyone. This is the beauty of the show of the night, Mr. Tap, and we have to give credit for every one of you in the chat tonight. That's the reason why the Hockey Nation is one great place to be every single night. So thanks so much, Mr. Tap. Thanks so much. We have no moderator. We don't need moderator anymore, Mr. Tap. We have everybody
I'm right
control everybody about that one over there. So
That's it. That's it.
great things to say that. But before we leave, Mr. Tap, we have to mention everything. Be well, BL. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of 1, Mr. Tap.
You're 2024.
He did it again. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, of course, the Hockey Nation, the Habs Nation, want to tell you one more thing, Mr. Tap. We love you, people. Have a great week, Mr. Tap. See you next time.
Cheers. Good night.
Here we go. Get off the flower. Have a good night, Mr. Tap.
Good night.
Oh. Booyah!